Good evening, everyone. Thanks so much for giving me your time this evening. We have a really great turnout, and hopefully, this is really going to be. I'm going to, lay heavily on the educational side of this, and you're going to be able to learn a lot from this presentation. I'm just going to give it 30 more seconds because there's a lot of traders coming in. So just hang on for about 30 to 45 seconds, and then we'll start. Actually, what I'll do is I'll start now, because all I'm going to do is first is just read the disclaimer. Now, we're www.rightlinetrading.com. Emails at info@rightlinetrading.com. Our phone number is 786-713-5276. And then Rory does have the phone, so if you want to call, you can. And just a disclaimer, all signals and trading opportunities provided both orally, written, or electronically are disclosed to visitors or subscribers or for educational and demonstration purposes only. Right Line Trading takes no responsibility for any participation by visitors or subscribers within futures, forex, or stocks, for any profits or losses that may be incurred. Obviously, participation in the futures, forex, and stock markets involves substantial risk, and it should be understood that a person can lose a substantial amount of money. So participation in these markets is not appropriate for everyone. Careful consideration of your financial position should be made prior to trading. Never miss more than 2% of your account on any trade. We are not registered financial advisors, and we are not licensed commodity trading advisors. We recommend that you talk to one before making a trade. And really, that's about it. So let me drop the slides. I'm not gonna even go into my background. I don't want to waste any time. And what I thought I would do first. Now we're gonna lose some trades that were taken this week because we rotated the crude contract from February to March. I don't want to rotate it back to February. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to display the trades that we can show you. And the fact of the matter is that I'm not going to be able to show you two huge winners on crude, a $230 winner and a $220 winner. Those are full winners on crude. They both occurred on the 17th. And the 17th, I believe, is the day that we rotated the contract. It was Thursday. We rotated it Thursday afternoon because I looked and saw that we had greater volume. Now you can see that crude is off to the races here. And you can see the hybrid Unarenko candles that contain the wick inside the candle. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that before I just hone in on the Laguerre itself as a really, really powerful confirmatory way of taking a trade. Now, don't listen to the beeps and bangs here, because we have to modify the wave file. And I'm going to take them out real quickly. I thought I had, and for some reason they seem to just pop right back in. We're going to alarm this in a really nice way. So let me get rid of that alert. And I'll start with crude, and we're going to go over the trades that I can show you. And I want to show you the rationale for the trades, the power of the Laguerre. Now, this is the whole software package. Okay. Now, let me just refresh so we get background bias back. All the fractal analysis, the multi-time frame analysis on Ninja is sort of twitchy after the market closes. Now we've got it back. Now you see the dots are now all the wrong color. Hold on, let me do it again. I mean, that's what happens when you do a multi-time frame analysis, and it's just the way the program is the way the NinjaTrader platform is written. Now, if we can't get the dots back to the right color, I'm not going to waste time on it. I'm going to show you the entries anyway. Here we go. We got it. So let me go with the first entry. Now we're going to miss the middle of the week because we lost 2 days worth of data. Now here's the first trade that I can show you. This is on the 16th. And the 16th, which was, I believe, a Wednesday, if I can bring it up, is the first day that we started with the Laguerre. Now you can see, I remember this trade really well. It went 14 ticks, and it's a very, very risky trade, and one that I don't recommend taking routinely. What we got was the yellow line is the VWAP, is the volume weighted average price. We got a break, and inside this candle was a big pullback wick. So we had a break and pullback to the VWAP. The entry was right back on this candle as it followed through to the downside, and the trade went 14 ticks. Now, we were not set up on a multi-time frame alignment to the downside like we were here. So this had a lot more risk associated with it. Here's the Laguerre, this lower red line. And what we see, this is our, for a better description, I mean, this is sort of our Laguerre strip. And what it shows is that the Laguerre has locked to the downside. We're trying to make it as easy to read as possible without having to constantly watch the Laguerre line. I'm going to go into a lot of detail about how the Laguerre works. But when it locks into oversold, a lot of traders will look to fade the market and look to trade it on divergence. That's a huge mistake. When this indicator locks down, this bottom line goes red. And this is when you know the bears are in control. So because I had the Laguerre lock short, and I had my quant line, which is an indicator of money flow lock, telling me that money was coming out of the market, I took this 14-tick trade short. Then the market swung around, and we got this trade here. Now, there was a pullback wick inside the hybrid Unirenko, and this one went for 25. Again, both confirmed by money flow, the top line, and the Laguerre. Again, the Laguerre was locked short. And it was one of the reasons I took the trade. It really, excuse me 1 second, it's my son, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry about that. My son always picks the time to call me when I'm doing this. So we got the pullback, I got the continuation trade, and we got 25 ticks on this trade. This was a lot less riskier. Let me mute my phone here. Because of the fact that we had background bias pink, the multi-time frame alignment of crude was to the downside, and that really, really mitigates risk on the trade. Now, we really lost the middle because of the fact that we rotated contracts. And we had a wonderful, wonderful week on crude. And we'll just, let me go to the next trade that I can show you. Now, here was our short, right here. I took this trade. Here's the pivot. We want to take a pivot breaker. Now the pivot breaker is here. You need 2/3 of the candle body below the pivot. This is Japanese candlestick dogma, which we adhere to. But I jumped the trade, I call it. I got in right before the pivot break. So I got 2 extra ticks on the trade, but I also increased risk significantly on the trade. Now here is the Laguerre oscillator signal down. Now what this is telling you, or telling us, is that the Laguerre has risen above the 80 line and is now crossing back to the downside. The overbought condition on the Laguerre has been alleviated on this candle. And this tells you the slope of the Laguerre. Now, I like to look at the slope of the Laguerre line, but the arrow tells you it is now heading down. Now, it could come right back up, but with price action like this, it's just not going to do it. So the Laguerre confirmed the trade. There, I could have taken the trade short here, but I wanted to wait for the pivot to break. As soon as I got, that's why I jumped the trade. As soon as jumped at a candle early, and we got 14 ticks, along with the Laguerre, right on the arrow. Now the arrow is not going to create that lockdown mode. There's 2 entries. One is when overbought is alleviated, and you get that down arrow. And the second is when you get in the lockdown short. And as this matured, you can see eventually the gear locked down. I had money flow all the way and the multi-time frame alignment short with me on the trade. And that's that. Now, I am missing a bunch of trades, but they occurred in between the week. I only took 10 trades the whole week. I didn't take that many. Now, let me show you the E-mini. On the E-mini, we only took 3 trades all week because of the E-mini had a ton of chop. Now, here was one trade right here, long. And if you'll notice, look at the slope of the Laguerre. It's heading straight up. Now, there's the long arrow. There's the short arrow. But you're going to have to look at the slope. It's unfortunate, but there are those intermediate periods where you're just going to have to watch that magenta line. And this was the break of the VWAP and a move up for 6.5, 6.25. Then I took this short trade, and it was a loser. It was the exact same trade I took on crude. It was the move down, the pullback to the volume weighted average price. I had the confirmation of the Laguerre locked down and money flow down, no continuation. My higher time frames were still on the upside, and I should have been anticipating only along to the upside. This is what always happens when you take a trade with additional risk. The crude trade made me money, and this trade, I lost twice as much money as I made on the crude trade. So just don't take a risky trade. Sometimes it beguiles you when you win it. When you win it once, eventually it's going to take its money right back from you. And here was our long trade. We had the Laguerre locked long. We had, remember, when this recalibrates, it pushes everything a candle or two to the right. We had money flow right here and long for 4.25. We take our trades with what our indicators are telling us. We rarely take a loser. And here was another one. You have to look at the slope. And up we went for 5. Now, this is not a trade we took. We didn't have confirmation on the trade. And this is a trade that happened after we stopped trading. It was a perfect long and continuation for 4 points with confirmation of Laguerre to the upside. Now, we didn't get the lockup, but we had the slope of the Laguerre line. And then we had this trade. Again, look at the Laguerre slope. Now, this doesn't move fast. It's a very stable line. So it's very easy to watch. I did not take this trade. We already closed the room. And that's another winner. So that was it. That was it for the E-mini. Now, I want to go back to the Laguerre and show it to you and just discuss how it works, because it really, really helps confirm a trade. And we've tried to make it as easy as possible to trade by providing this analysis here. And when the Laguerre is locked long or locked in overbought mode, you get this green line. And I'm telling you, the bulls are in control of the market. When this is locked short, the Laguerre is below the 20 line, and the bears are in control of the market. When you get an up arrow, the Laguerre line is moving up from oversold to give you a long entry. When you get a down arrow, the Laguerre is moving from overbought. It crosses the 80 line and prints. You're going to get this arrow intra-candle. We see this arrow all the time. Sometimes this candle will not close to the downside. It'll waver and then it'll go up and the arrow will leave. So you really have to wait till the candle is, well, you really don't have to wait at all. If you've got a great signal, and I'll find one for you, and I'm going to go over some of our trading rules. Here's a great short trade, just off the Laguerre, right here. Now, if you see this signal, you're going to put your buy stop, or your sell stop right here, 1 tick below the close of the candle. If the candle doesn't mature to the downside, you're just going to take it. It's just going to cancel automatically. You don't have to worry about it. Now in here, you hit chop, then you had another continuation to the downside. The Laguerre never stayed in any direction except lock short. Now we just have a few simple rules because we do have to censor the Laguerre system. I want to make it clear, it's not meant to be a standalone indicator for you to trade. It's not a system, it's an indicator. But it can give you very, very accurate entries if you remember this. You're always going to go long above the 50. And this is the 50 EMA of the 50 EMA. We do not counter trend trade. And when you're above the 50, the bulls are in control. Believe me, they are. So if you want to try to take every trade and trade with sensitivity, you're going to get really crushed. What you want to do is trade with a tremendous amount of specificity. Set out a whole list of trading rules that the market has to meet, or trading parameters. And unless the market meets those parameters, you just stand aside. You saw that one loser I took. I got a winner on crude earlier on it, and sure enough, it beat me up. As soon as I tried to reproduce it again, and you go short, always below the 50 EMA of the 50 EMA. Now, if you want to try to counter trend trade, you can't. But don't say I didn't warn you, because it's going to be very treacherous and very difficult. Now, there are traders that tell you they can call tops and they can call bottoms and they can do a lot of magical things, but there is no way to do that. The top and bottom of the market of any given move is called by institutional money. When it is rocking long, the institutions, I mean, we saw a trade this week that went 106 ticks on crude. I mean, we saw multiple traders try to counter trend trade that move, calling a top, and they just got run over. There is no way to call a top or a bottom, because big money is what calls that. We just have to stay with the trend and get in with the big money in the direction of the trend. That's why we go long above and we go short below right here. And if we do this, it's going to keep us really safe. And the Laguerre calls great trades. Now, some of the counter trend trades are very successful. We just don't want to take them. Just the way it is. So, I mean, right here, this is a tremendous long call. Right on the when the Laguerre alleviates the oversold condition, and you've got a beautiful trade. There's the counter trend trade, which really goes nowhere. Now here is a move back up, which doesn't go anywhere. Like I said, it's just not quite enough. But it does have a tremendous amount of power. Here's another short trade. And down you go. Now this short trade started above the 50. So we just can't take it right into support of the 50. And here's the short trade. This is a perfectly good trade, short. We would need confirmation, but that's the power it has. Now I want to discuss a little bit of how we've modified it. Now, first of all, we have made the Laguerre line faster. This is the RSI line. Normally, it's geared to trade price action that moves in an arithmetic fashion. An arithmetic movement is based on, this gives you arithmetic movement. Time, tick, and range. I mean, price is always going to move like this. It's going to move in a straight line. Price is going to rise in a straight line. But price does not rise in a straight line off of a Unirenko or a Renko. What price does is it moves this way. And I'll show you on paint. And you know, a lot of traders have seen this before, but it's really, I think it's important to really make it clear. Now, all I want to do is just go to the drawing tool. On Unirenko, price moves like this. Now, this is a parabola, and this is geometric movement. It doesn't move like this in a straight line. And what happens here is where you get the reversals. And then when you go into the trend, price just really starts to skyrocket. Eventually the slope flattens and rise equals run. You know, rise over run is 1, but here the rise is many times greater than the run, and that's geometric movement. Remember your basic algebra. The slope is rise over run, and you know, here it is, straight line, and here it is like this. Now, if you're going to use the same settings to try to track that kind of price, it's not going to work. So what you need is you need a faster exponential line to track it. And that's what this magenta line does. Now, the yellow line is called fractal energy. And for the life of me, I don't know why it's called that. That's what Laguerre named it, and I'm not changing its name. And by the way, Laguerre was a very, very famous and very brilliant mathematician. He was no slouch, the guy that invented this indicator. This is a real complex indicator. I mean, it puts Williams K, relative strength, stochastic, all the other oscillators to shame. Now, this is supposed to call the volatility of the market and the potential length of the move. Now, I don't put much stock in it, and I don't look at it. I feel if a trade is close to the 50, it's got a greater chance to get a tremendously big move. You take a trade way off the 50, I don't think that's necessarily the case. I think it's going to be tougher. But if we let's look at a reasonable time frame. See right here, this fractal energy is not huge, but we've got a really, really big move. But that's what it does. And what it really is a complex volatility assessment. But it's a look back assessment. So we're not going to have a future assessment. Now, I don't want to spill any beans or anything, but what we're going to do, remember, the Laguerre is doing a single time frame analysis. And I never like anything. Now, it's a great indicator. And I never like anything that does that. We may turn the Laguerre into a multi-time frame analytic tool to give it real forward-looking ability. Even if it stands right now. Now, if we do that and you have the indicator, you're going to get that upgrade. And that's something that I'm seriously considering doing. It's not particularly difficult at all to do that. And that's something that we may do. But I really like the way it confirms the trades. Now, when the Laguerre is locked long, you just have to go long. Don't try to fade the market. And when it's locked short, don't try to fade. You can only trade short. So what we're doing is trying to give you the best analysis we can off of this indicator. Now I'll show you a different instrument. Let's move to the E-mini. Now the E-mini has really become sort of atrocious to trade. And soon I'll go answer any questions, because I'll look at any instrument, any time frame. And I want to talk for a second about the hybrid candles that we have, which I'll be able to show. I'm going to lose them when we reload. Now here's the E-mini. We have to change the settings. Every setting is optimized. This is a 428 on the E-mini. Now 428. Now the E-mini this week was no piece of cake to trade. Let me tell you. Now you could get winners, and let me just say one other thing. And this, I know I'm being redundant, but our goal as day traders is not to get winners; it's to avoid losers. If we can have our software define areas where the market is in chop based on our definition, there's no multi-time frame alignment and trend. We don't have money flow. We don't have the Laguerre. We don't have correlative markets. We're really going to trade with a tremendous amount of specificity. We're going to make the market come to us. And when we do take a trade, the chances of getting a win are extremely high. And that's what we want. Now, we're going to lose some winning trades. When you trade with specificity, you let some winners escape. But let the traders that trade with sensitivity and try to get every single winner under their belt. And trust me, they're going to log in a ton of losers. And day trading or swing trading, again, is never about the number of winners. It's always about the number of losers. Now, we'll take a look at the E-mini. Now Friday was option to expiration. Anthony, it was really not an easy day to trade. Let's go back to Thursday and take a look at the potential trades just off the Laguerre. Now we've got a down arrow here, and you can see that the Laguerre never made it to oversold. So what we do have to do if we have a potential entry, and I saw this entry at 932, and this was an entry we just couldn't get. I mean, I really wanted to take it, but the Laguerre was still too flat for me, and it didn't develop its slope until later on. And so I just laid off the move, and I missed a very, very nice move up. Now, based on our automatic trade management strategy, we would have been out on a reversal candle, but this is a very, very juicy move up. And I didn't take it because the Laguerre was a little bit slow getting in my direction. Now, here's our counter trend candles. We just can't take them. Now, here is a perfect winner at 1026. It's just what we want. It's sitting right on the 50. We've got the crossover above the 20 line. The market was oversold. It's now relieved. And we have a nice move up. I'm not going to scale it. Here's our counter trend. We don't take. Here's our next move up. If you're out on a reversal candle, you're not going to be out of this trade because we don't move our stop until the first target is hit. We have no first target here. So this move is going to go all the way up to here. I'll just scale this to give you an idea of how far this is going to go. Now remember, this is without confirmation. We're trading right off this indicator alone. And this is 5.25 points. No counter trend. No counter trend. And here's your next move up. Perfect trade. The 50 is up. The 15 is up. And look at that beautiful move. Now this is 1309. Now, if it was me, I would be done for the day. I have this winner. I have this winner. I have this winner. I have this winner. And what the Laguerre has allowed me to do is to avoid every loser. There was no potential move up that I might have taken under any circumstances that would have given me a loser. This is nothing here more than consolidation. And we never got a signal to trade this long. Now, if we kept trading, there's your next move up. What a killer move that is. With the Laguerre locked long. Here is another winner right here. Not a big one, but I'll take it. This is 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. 1, 3, 5, 7, 8 ticks, 2 points. Take a 2-point winner any day. No counter trend. Here we have no trade. The Laguerre is heading down, not up. We're never going to chase that. And the Laguerre is not going to call every winner, but it's going to help you avoid every loser. And when it gets you into a trade, it's going to work out really well. So now, we're heading into the end of day. So I just want you to see how it performs. It really does a great job. On a multi-time frame analysis, it might even work better with forward-looking ability. As it stands now, it's a great addition. Now I'm just going to show you one more thing off of a full chart, and then I'll answer any questions because I want to show you. Because I want you to, if you want to see stocks, I'll put it on stocks. Whatever you'd like to look at, doesn't make any difference. Remember, the indicator is time frame independent. Doesn't matter whether you trade time, tick, or range. Now, here's one other point that I want to make, and there's our hybrid Unorenco wicks. The wicks are super important. Now, when we first created them, I thought we were the only that we had done something new. But a lot of traders in the room said they had seen them before, and they don't remember where. It's not proprietary in the sense that we invented them and we could patent them, I would imagine. But as far as I know, they're not available anyplace else. And what this does is you have to remember, and I want to give you just a little bit of understanding of what goes on with Unorenco and Renko. And that is the size of this candle body is fixed by your inputs. And it's an illusion. Like what's going on here? This is not the high. This is not the low. This candle body is simply created by design to provide you with symmetry. And I love the symmetry it provides. But I want to know more, and I have to look inside. So what this does is it gives you, actually this went all the way through to give you an actual wick. And you can see the wick coming out the bottom of the candle here. Let me see if you have a wick here. Yep, you have a wick. But on this candle, you don't. So if you have a pullback like this, and it stays inside the candle body, but almost reaches to the top, and you want to take the trade short, you can. And it allows you to read price action and market structure with a lot more authority that normal Unorenco is just a solid candle body. And if you look at Renko, you just get a brick. You can't read price action or market structure. Now, let me give you one other heads up about the nature of any oscillator with Unorenco or Renko. If there's no wick, the oscillator will not work. And I want to show you something here that I think might surprise you. We can't do it on this chart. I'm going to give you a new chart. If you try to use an oscillator on Renko, now Renko provides you with no wicks, and I just want to tell you this. You need 4 parameters on every candle in order for any oscillator to work. The open, the close, and the high and the low of every candle. If you don't have those 4 parameters, that K line will not trace out anything of any value. And they're real expensive programs that use oscillators on Renko with no wicks. And I'll show you what they're getting. What they're getting is a totally bogus analysis. I'm going to create a new chart, and I'll put it on crude just because crude has a lot of volatility right now. Right now, it's my favorite instrument to trade. It's going to come up in a second. I hope. Here it goes. Now, I don't trade off I don't really do webinars for the most part off of slides, because slides, we show you what the presenter wants you to see. I want you to see a real chart. I want you to see how the data is produced for you live. Or, in this particular case, we're doing a look back, but I want you to see what we see when we're trading. I mean, the toughest place to be, I think, in the world, even after 15 years, is on the right edge of the chart. It is a real difficult task. And there's a lot of people telling you how easy it is, how they make $1 million in 5 minutes and trade, $20,000 at the open. But it is not easy. Let me load in a new chart. It's very tough to trade. You got to have a tremendous amount of patience, and you got to adhere to your rules. And anytime you deviate, market is going to come back and get you. It's good, and like you saw, it may hand you a present on a bad trade, but it's going to take it away from you on the next. All right, hopefully this will load. Not loading much here. We'll give it 1 minute. But it's the importance of having these hybrid wicks. They provide you with really, really important information. Now, this should load really quickly. I don't know why it's not, because there's not much data here. And maybe it's slow just because it's a Sunday night. And I want to show you stocks if you like, and I want to show you Forex if you like. Now Forex will do last because I have to add a new data feed for Forex. But stocks, I can just use the same data feed. All right, it's not going to load for me. All right, well, if you look at the percent K line on a Renko chart, you'll see it just tracks price. I mean, if price goes almost like this. If a candle goes up, it goes up. If a candle goes down, it goes down. If a candle goes up, down, down. It doesn't do anything that allows you to make an accurate assessment at all. And I'll show you the difference here. Right here, you have the Laguerre locked up. And you'll notice you get a reversal candle. The Laguerre does not budge. It's not jockeyed around by price. And the thing that I also want to mention is that the Laguerre formula has multiple filters to smooth price. And you can adjust those internally. So what we have is set this to move smoothly and to not be jockeyed around by a single down candle. It makes it a little slower, but what we want to do is we want to trade with specificity and not sensitivity. Now, let me just bring this chart back, and I'll just show you one stock, and then I'm gonna throw it open, and I'll show you the QQQ. So here's the QQQ, and let me see how many days we have loaded. We have 10 days loaded, and we have to change the QQQ to a 5210. Now, I really love trading the QQQ. You're going to get great trades. We can go over the QQQ. We can do it on Friday, which was look at this move up on the QQQ at 10:52 with the Laguerre entry right here. Now there's no confirmation. We have nothing else on the chart. That's a 70-cent move, 69 cents. Your risk on the trade is 13 cents. I mean, the risk to reward, and that's all that matters when you're trading stocks. If you're trading 1,000 shares, this is a $690 move, and all you're risking is $111. I mean, that's an incredibly good risk to reward. Here's another move. Straight up. Well, that's not really a move because you haven't broken the 50. And this is really a counter trend trade because you haven't broken the 50 either. Well, this really is a potential trade. It's small and it may not be a winner. Let's keep going. Here's a very, very nice move down. And these are the kind of trades all the way down. I mean, if you just traded the Laguerre, you would make really, really nice money. If you could leverage 1,000 shares on the QQQ and your reward is 5 to 6 to 7 to 1, it's going to be really hard to take a loser. Now you make $280 on 1,000, which is not bad. Remember, you're only risking is $130. Here you make $200. Unfortunately, you just don't get this move. You're not going to get them all. Now, this is a small move, and this may come back and take your $130 from you. But so what? It's a really small loss. Here's a gigantic winner. 320. So it's very difficult to lose because you're going to get so many nice entries and so many nice winners. So let me answer any questions that you have. Let me just show you our offer. If I can find it, it's right here. And then I'll answer any questions you have. Now, I hope I covered everything that I wanted to. Sometimes I forget. I'm just going to go right to the slide. Now, here's the offer. It's the wrong offer. Otherwise, it's perfect. That's for our Forex trading system. Now, here's the offer. Then the modified Laguerre. It's so new. It's not on the website. We are going to charge $6.99. It's $299. Any updates? If we make this Laguerre better for life, you will get that better indicator. If we turn this into a multi-time frame assessment, that'll be something that you get. Now, if you want the whole platform, and I've really not discussed the whole platform, because that was not my intention. But if you're interested in the full platform, it's $13.99, and you get to pay in 2 installments of $700 when you buy it and $700 in a month. And I'll tell you, we had a sort of a lousy week, and we cleared which what I would consider a very mediocre week, because the first 2 days of the month we did not have, the first 2 days of the week we didn't have the Laguerre. We still cleared $500, so it still would have in 1 week it would have almost paid for this. Now normally we can eclipse 1,000 a week. Your bonus, everyone will get a month in the training room with me. And the first 5 will get the hybrid Uniwrinkle bars, which I think is a really, really nice additional add-on component. And the offer ends Tuesday at midnight. Our phone is 786-713-5276. Our email is info@rightlinetraining.com. Whatever system you trade, this is going to provide you with a tremendous amount of additional specificity. It's going to filter out your losers, and it will help you confirm if you think you have a winning trade and the Laguerre is with you on the trade. It's going to make it's going to on a mathematical basis going to increase the probability that you're going to get a winner. Now, I just want to mention really briefly that Dr. Keith is starting his Forex trading room on Tuesday. He is a master Forex trader. And I think that Rory's going to put a link in the room for $1. You can come aboard for 1 week. And if you're not making a lot of money and you want to trade at 7:30 in the morning, he is well worth it, because he's going to trade a little bit differently than I do. His methodology is somewhat different. He relies heavily on the Laguerre on a multi-time frame analysis. So his Laguerre is not going to look at one time frame. It's going to look at multiple time frames. Otherwise, you're going to see the core system is pretty much the same. So let me see if there are any questions, and I'll answer them for you. Hang on one sec. Okay, I got them. Okay. I'll just start with the top, and I'll put up anything. Can you show the signals for this week on the SPY? Hang on one second. Okay, Mark, I just arrived at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. Congrats. Joining the staff this week. Congratulations. Oracle Davis. Congratulations, Mark. That's a great position. You know, I was on the staff at Penn. I was an associate professor for 3 years. And academics is tough because there's a lot of fighting over grant money, but it's wonderful. And congratulations. I don't know if we can do a pop-up, Jonathan. I'll have to talk to Sergio when he's not here, but we're definitely going to alarm it. Don't worry about that. That's going to be part of the system. We will alarm it for you. Pat, the Laguerre is operational on 7 or 8. So that is already done. Okay, TD, there really are no settings. I'll show you the Laguerre and I'll show you the inputs in the back. Everything's been buried because we don't want you to modify it. Let me bring the Laguerre over and I'll show you what you can possibly modify. There's only one input we've left of it open, and it's one you're never going to touch. Now here's the Laguerre. Now we had to do it in 3 pieces. This is the actual Laguerre. Here is the arrows, and here is that signal strip that tells you when the Laguerre is locked down or locked up. And the only thing we put in is this NFE, or fractal energy assessment, which is at 13. The open offset is simply how far you want the arrows to appear off your candle bodies. So there really is no inputs left because we modified them and we really have proprietary settings. We did a lot of optimization of the system to make it smooth. And what we did was we refigured the entire formula to work with this geometric movement of price. So it's not a standard Laguerre, and that's why we called it a modified Laguerre, but it's based on that core formula that Laguerre created. So it's a nice indicator, and there are really no settings. When you get the Laguerre, it's going to have that 13 already configured. The only thing that you may want to change is how far off the candle bodies you get the arrow, and that's a 5. You can change the down color of the arrows and nothing else, and the down color and up color of the signal bar, and the width. That's it. Let me keep going here. David, our key quant is Q. I'll show it to you. It's really not for this lecture, but our key quant on NT8 is Q4, and our key quant on NT7 is Q1. So that's a little confusion. Q1 NT7, Q4 NT8. I really want to keep the questions focused on the Laguerre. Yep, that's right, Ron. Wes, we're building it. And let me tell you, Wes is asking about a scanner based on the multi-time frame analysis of the Laguerre. We are well into the production of that scanner. And it is going to be I hate to say kick ass, but it's going to be. It's coming out. Hopefully we're going to have it within a week to 10 days. It's a lot of programming, but you're going to be able to look, if you trade the Forex, at 15 different pairs, 20 pairs. I'm going to use it in the trading room to look at the Dow and the NASDAQ. So I'm going to be able to finally track more than 2 instruments. It's really a scanner like no other scanner before. So you got it, Wes. That's what we're going to come out with. The Auto Trader, Wes, we haven't had it online in a while. We're gearing to get it back online by February 1st. And what we're doing now is programming this indicator into it. So we would have had it online, we're going to take it off, and we're going to program the Laguerre into it. The yellow line significance, sure. Yellow line significance, James. Let me come back here to the Laguerre only. The yellow line is when the Laguerre is not locked long or not locked short. And you'll see as soon as the Laguerre crosses the 20 line to the downside and stays down, this line is going to go red, indicative of the fact that the bears are in control. And it will stay red until it crosses the 20 line above, and there's your long signal, where it alleviates that oversold condition. Here, when it crosses above the 80 line, it locks long. Now, when it's yellow, you don't have the bulls firmly in control or the bears firmly in control. So you have to look for the arrows. This is the cross, and there's your trade long. Here's the cross, there's your trade short. And that's going to come on the yellow assessment, where the Laguerre is not locked long or not locked short. For the most part, what we've tried to do is create the indicator where 90% of the time you don't have to look at it. All you have to do is watch the signals and watch the strip and watch the arrows. Now on this move up, all you needed was one pullback wick to support, and you're in. That's it. I mean, you couldn't get the trade on the first candle. If you get a quick pullback, and actually the quick pullback is right here, and this is all you need. And that pullback tells you that the bears have tried to reverse this candle and failed. And we call that a bear failure, because that's exactly what it is. They created that wick and they failed. Now, if you didn't take it there, you really should have taken it here, because this is a dual bear failure. And we watch for these in the room. Bears tried to pull the market down, failed. If you missed the entry, when they tried to pull it down a second time, you're in. And you're not going to get whacked out of this trade until there's a reversal candle. So you're going to get the entire move, or whatever you're programmed to take your contracts off of. In this case, this is stocks. So you want to take off, if you want to take off one lot at say 25 cents, another lot at 50 cents, depending upon how you put in your automatic trade management strategy. Now, I'm not here to discuss the trade management, just the entries off the Laguerre. So it was an easy entry right here. It takes a little bit of screen time, but we've made the indicator as easy to work with as possible. You don't have to sit there with that crosshair looking at that cyan line all the time, trying to figure out what it is. 90% of the time, just look at the color of the Laguerre assessment and watch for the arrows. Those are your optimal entries, and they will do real well for you. Just always make sure you trade in the direction of the trend. Don't try to take a short trade above the 50 or a long trade below the 50. Sometimes they work and sometimes they don't, but in general, they're very, very risky trades, and I wouldn't recommend it. Mostly, you don't have to wait for it to turn red. There are two optimal places to get in. Motion, I'm sorry. You can get in off the oscillator arrow right here. I mean, this is giving you a lot of information, this arrow. When it's going to come intra-candle. When it prints, now once you see it flash intra-candle, you're going to place your sell stop one tick below the close of the candle. Now, if for some reason, the candle's here, and then it turns around and goes up, you're just going to cancel your order. You can't lose here. Once you see this flashing, it's telling you that the overbought conditions are being relieved, that the bears are now taking control of the market. Now, if this arrow printed and this went 2 candles and then turned around and was a loser, you'd see this as a losing entry. It's not going to go away. Nothing reprints here. So you can see what a great entry that was. So you have to look for these. Now, like I said, these are the cues. If you do day trade stocks, I would use a confirmatory assessment, but here's your short trade. Look at this great pullback. And look and the bears are just locked the market down. And there's your short trade. I mean, the Laguerre itself is not a system, but if you add it to whatever you're using, it will significantly improve your results. If you don't have the Laguerre with you, I would recommend you stand aside on the trade because it's going to be problematic. I know there's a football game on, Bill. I want to watch it too, but I scheduled this. I don't even know who's playing. I think the New Orleans Saints. No problem, James. It'll work on anything, Bill. And in fact, I'll show you the instrument. Let's look at ZB. Oh, geez, I'm sorry. TF is not even a ticker we look at anymore. I don't even know what it's doing there. Excuse me. I'm glad it didn't drop NinjaTrader. Let's look at bonds. Now, the thing is, we have to change the inputs. Bonds is a 1, 2, 4 setting. Remember, bonds has very, very little volatility. Now, this is bonds. And you'll notice there's your short trade right there. Perfect trade. There's your lockdown right here. Perfect short trade. Here's your short trade right here. And you don't need much on bonds for a first target. If I was you on ZB, I would take a very, very modest first target. Now, this could be a potential loser. And I will never tell you that every trade this calls is going to be a winner. Here's a short. So here's a counter trend. We just can't take it. And you're not going to get a trade every day on bonds. Look at this trade long, right here off the arrow. It's a tremendous trade. Now we're going to automate this so we can trade for us at night. Now these are all counter trend trades. Can't take them. So you can see it'll work on any instrument and on any time frame. All you need to know is the Unorenco optimized setting. Bonds is 214. It'll trade ZN on the same time frame. Jonathan writes that I have been using the Laguerre with your normal Unorenco system for the past week. For my particular strategy, target $50 to $60 for each trade with a lot of contracts. I'm not sure. I found that when the lockdown indicator matches the quant lines, on all three lines match, the results are insanely good. So I get you, Jonathan. So, Jonathan's trading the system live. Okay, let me see, Patrick. Let me read what you're writing here. I haven't seen you show us any trades resulting from a lockdown, locked up Laguerre that then gave us a reversal candle and then another reversal candle. You know what? I just haven't seen one. I'm scanning everything here. I'll put up another stock. Why don't we put up? I don't know. Put up anything you like. What do I have in here? Why don't we look at Apple? Now, the thing about this is that really no one does. Obviously, I don't have this pre-screened. I have absolutely no idea what's going to come up. Now, again, we have to modify the Unorenco inputs. Now, Apple is a 10, 4, 20. Now, we'll give you all these settings because we have them. Now, Apple's pretty choppy, I have to tell you. Now, this is Friday. Friday was a brutal day. Now, none of these are trades. You're not going to counter trend trade this instrument, but you can take this trade long right here on the lockup, right here. And right here, as soon as you get a pullback, you can go long. Now, I know what you're saying. I just don't see it. I mean, I'm trying to find it. We'll go back one more day. Well, here, I know what you're saying. You're looking for a multi-candle pullback, and I just can't see one. Here's one. Here's the lockdown. Right here. Here's a 2-candle pullback. It did pull the assessment on the Laguerre up, but it never changed the assessment here. The bears were always in control. And if you weathered this 2-candle pullback, if you're willing to take this risk, you're going to get the additional move down. And here, look at that arrow entry. Bam. Tremendous trade on Apple. I mean, again, the risk to reward on Apple's incredible. Your risk on any trade is 25 cents. And your potential reward here is just, you're looking at 5 to 6 to 1. On 25 cents of risk, you're getting 86 cents of profit. So on 1,000 contracts, that's a lot of money, but just to scale it, your maximum loss is $250. Your profit here is $860. That's an awesome risk to reward. You have to get 3 losers to give back this money. That's what you want. It is available for NTA, Donovan, yes. Albert, you call us on Monday and we'll give it to you. Okay. Okay. Yeah. We're looking forward to having you trade. Um, on Monday, the room is closed because it's a half day. It's Martin Luther King Day, but the company's open. So give us a call around 8:30 and we'll get you all set up. Okay. Okay. We'll get those templates. What I do, Heinz, is I take, if I trade stocks, I take them on Thinkorswim. My Thinkorswim data feed powers my Ninja Trader. Now I have my Ninja. It has its own data feed, and what I do is I use Kinetic. I use a Kinetic data feed, and I can show that to you in 1 second here. Hang on 1 second. Just let me. Hold on 1 sec, and I will show you the data feed that I use right here. I have CQG and I have Kinetic. Kinetic gives me 200 ticker symbols for 20 bucks. If I want 500 ticker symbols, I pay 40 bucks. If I want to trade all the wacky ones, I have the data feed from Thinkorswim. So it's real easy. And this was our set. This is how we did on 116. We made 230 and 130 on 2 trades. This was just a test trade on the Forex. I like to trade the Laguerre with the lockdown. I mean, I think though, for me, the more I look at it, the more it seems to me like those are great entries. The arrow seems to get you in early. And right here, this is a great trade motion. It's a perfect long. You're not going to get the lockup. If you wait for it, the trade's going to leave you behind because you don't get the lockup until here. I'll tell you, you can trade either one. The arrow's a little bit riskier because it's an earlier entry. But look at, you see the oscillator line or the RSI line has crossed above the 20 line and printed above. That prints it prints the up, and you're going to take it long. I wouldn't worry about mastering this. Remember, if you buy the indicator, you're going to be in the trading room with me for a month, and you're going to get tremendous screen time seeing how I trade it. So you're going to get a great feel for how to use it. This is your first exposure. I just want you to see the validity of the entry signals. There's an up arrow right here at 1442. You have to have a lot of risk tolerance here because you get 2 candle pullback. But if you do, get this enormous move up. This is Apple Computer. It's expensive. No, sometimes I do not wait. I'll take the trade right on the arrow. It all depends how everything sets up. Remember, I'm using the full platform to trade. So if I get this up arrow, maybe I'm trading right into a pivot. I'm not going to take it. I wait for the pivot breaker, which is this candle, and then I go long. So really, again, I want to reinforce this is a confirmatory indicator. It's no matter what you do, what you trade, time, tick, range, not Renko, Unirenko with wicks. It's going to help you trade enormously. And this is Apple. The market hasn't opened, so we're not generating any wicks. That's correct, Brian. I never go short above the 50, nor long below the 50. Those are counter trend trades. I'm telling you, they will kill you. Believe me. When the institutional money is moving the market down like this, you only want to get a short entry. Every retracement, you take short. Every long retracement, you take short. Stay in the direction of big money. You try to take this long, what you're really saying is you're calling the bottom. And we don't ever want to do that. Because if you look here, let me show you why this move is so terrific. And this is what you're going to get a feel for in the room. I think this best exemplifies it. What's the best way to trade? When the market is making sequential lower highs and sequential lower lows. I mean, who's in control of the market when it's doing that? You know it's the bears. So try to trade long and you're going to get kaboomed. Trade in the direction of the Laguerre. It's telling you short. Don't take the counter trends. And when you get the sequential, here's your high, retracement, lower high and roll. Retracement, lower high and roll. And it always rolls lower and lower. Lower, lower, lower. This is a very lucrative move on Apple. Down, down, and down. It's a great setup. So you take the Laguerre signal short. Don't counter trend trade. Wait till you're above the 50 and the 15s cross the 50. Now the bulls are in control. Don't take it when the bears are in control. Thank you, Ford. Okay. Sure, Ian. The hybrid Unirenko, normally a Unirenko candle, if you just take a standard open source, you can find Unirenko, I think, somewhere. They don't give you any wicks. They just create candle bodies. And the candle body is an illusion for you. You have to understand that both Renko and Unirenko create illusions. It's a nice illusion, though. Sometimes it's nice to be fooled. Because if you think that the market is really moving like this, you're really mistaken. What it's really doing is the inside candle bodies are telling you really where price is. So the high, if I remove all the drawing objects and I move this out here, it's right here. The high of the move is not this candle body. It's the wick inside the candle body. This is the real high of the move. Here's the real high of the move. Here's the real high. Now in this case, we can see the high. So standard Unirenko, you may think, oh, this is great. Here's my high, and here's my high. But that's not true. The Unirenko candle body is configured in this, in this setting. So what we did was we sort of said, we like the symmetry, but we want to see the truth. And those internal wicks are what give us the truth. And you see this deep pullback? right through the candle body. If we're trading into a pivot, so we can't trade it. But if we were free and clear, we'd go short. So it gives us a lot of information that we don't get normally. And that's what the hybrid does. Now, the way that NinjaTrader code is it will not hold those wicks. Those wicks will not stay. They'll never leave when you're in the course of a day. But when you close the platform and reopen it, they will disappear. And it's just part of the internal coding of the platform. We can't get them to stay. I mean, we're constrained by the way that Ninja works. And Ninja is not configured to keep and hold the Unirenko wicks. But this is what provides the Laguerre with its accurate assessment. Because the Laguerre is reading the real high, the real open, the real close, the real open high, low close. If you don't have the hybrid wicks, the Laguerre won't work either. So it is really critical to have that with you. Does the euro? I don't know, Ed. That's a good question, but I don't know the answer. It is, Donna. Yes, we are, Rianne. We are. Just give us a call on Monday. It's not, Al. It's not coded for TradeStation. The best we can do with TradeStation, and I love Thinkorswim on TradeStation, is we have a great API for TradeStation. So you can use your TradeStation Thinkorswim data feed to power a demo of Ninja. So you just download the demo. We will hook up the API through the API. We'll hook up your data feed, and it will run the platform for you. So you're going to have to use the signals off of Ninja, but you pay nothing for Ninja because you can use a demo of Ninja and you don't need a data feed, but you can't trade off of it. And we don't have it directly on TradeStation, but it's the next best thing because it's real easy to watch. No problem, Pat. Yes, he does. Yep. He uses the multi-time frame analysis of the Laguerre, which we're making for him, JP, and we will have it by Monday or Tuesday. You're going to see it in his trading room. And if it really trades great, we're going to move it into our trading room. We're going to trade the Laguerre on a multi-time frame basis. And let me tell you, Sergio worked all weekend to get that thing ready. Now, if you have the Laguerre and we upgrade to the multi-time frame, you will not, you will get that upgrade. You can, Robert. Some crew charts, you have 100. I'm not sure what you mean by that, TD. You know what, Rian? There is no coding in Ninja to change the size of the arrows. I'm going to have Sergio go back, but there is no standard. I'll show you. If we just go back here, there is no input to change the arrow size. NinjaTrader doesn't allow for it. But here's what we're going to do in the future. Since we have no triangles, we may change the arrow to triangles, and triangles you can make as big or small as you want. The only setting that NinjaTrader allows on the Laguerre arrows, which are right here, orange and green, are the color. There is no input in Ninja to change the size of them. Because I've already asked Sergio, but gee, I want to make those arrows bigger. And you can't do it because there's no coding in the Ninja platform to change those size. David, I think it's going to be out on Monday. Just send us an email. No, you know what? You know, Ron, we had 160 people for licensing. So I mean, Sergio's working like 15 hours a day, and we'll get to you. I'm not kidding you. 150 licenses, not one less. He used JP. He's using the same indicator we do, and the reason I know is we built it for him, and he's just going to take it off of. I mean, he's using all right line trading indicators. He's going to use the same modified Laguerre, JP. Thank you, Phil. It's coming along, Phil. We're working on it. We're adding the Laguerre, and we want to add a multi-time frame assessment of the Laguerre, and we're shooting for February 1st. Everyone's been super patient on that. When that auto trader comes out, I want it to make us money. So we're in the process of coding that in. David, super shortly. I think it's ready, to be honest with you. Please send us an email or call us on Monday. I think we're all set to go on NTA. When the Laguerre flatlines, why not have an indicator paint? When you say flatline, Larry, if you mean flatline up or flatline down, I'm not sure exactly what you mean. Because when it flatlines up, we have solid green. When it flatlines down, we have solid red. So we do that now. So I'm not exactly sure what you're what you're referring to. Thank you, James. Okay, James has got it on NT8. Thank you. Okay, he's back on your Christmas list. Thank God. I mean, I'm telling you, I mean, the guy's 33 years old and he has no hair. And I feel like it's the company. He's going to sue us for baldness. No, it's not our only rule, Brian, but it's a key rule. Long above the 50, short below the 50. Just adopting that rule alone, no matter what your other trading rules are, is going to save you a ton of money because you won't be counter trend trading. I learned that 15 years ago. To try to go short above the 50 is really very, very difficult because you're trading against, in general, the flow of institutional money, and what you're betting on is a reversal in price. You're betting, if you take a short right here, now this one works, and it goes right to where you would think, right to the 50, and then bounces long. It's a very dangerous trade. They work sometimes, but you don't want an entry that works sometimes. You want an entry that works 80 to 90% of the time, not 50 or 60% of the time. It is recorded, Carlos, and welcome aboard. No, it's not our only rule, Brian, but it's a fundamental rule. If you come in the trading room, you'll see every rule that we use. But that's a key rule, Brian, and it's very important. Oh, the moving averages wave. Thank you. You said it's better than a game, and I appreciate that. These are very special moving averages. You won't find them anywhere. This is the 50, and this is the 15. But let me tell you what these lines are. Again, if you optimize the system, you can't take standard analysis. And we don't. So what this is, this line is a 50 EMA of a 50 EMA. It's a superlative line. It has the speed of a 50 EMA and the smoothness of an SMA. It's really outstanding. And the same thing with the 15. It's a 15 EMA of a 15 EMA. What I'll have to do is just So you get the speed of an EMA and the smoothness of an SMA right here. This is a 15 EMA of a 15 EMA. Again, optimized to the geometric movement of price on Unarenco. And it creates great areas of support and resistance. It keeps up with this geometric movement. So price can't peel too far away. And I'll just show you really quickly. If you put in a standard EMA. And you're going to see it doesn't work as well. Just give it 1 second. Now you see what happens to the EMA? Let me show you. You see how it gets bent by every down move and a couple of candles contort it, while our moving average, which keeps pace with it, doesn't. So it's really got the smoothness of an SMA, doesn't get jockeyed around by a couple of candles back, but it keeps right up with the EMA when price moves up. That's the kind of line you want to trade with. So if you look at the line here, when price is choppy, that EMA is all over the place. The SMA is moving smoothly up and down, smoothly up and down. That's the difference in the coding. And that's what we want. Don't want one candle to buffet it around. I'm sure there are multiple examples. I'm looking for a 2-candle retracement. And of course, anytime I look for something, I can't find it. Here's a 2-candle. And look how far that EMA is bent. And look how stable the EMA of an EMA is. It's very stable. So if you were looking for a break of support here, you'd be really concerned. This, no way. So there's the difference. Very shortly, Albert. Very shortly. I'm hoping yes. Okay, I think you got him. Wave. If your small targets, lockdown indicator is incredible. Gotcha, Jonathan. I understand what you're doing. I like it. Exactly. Motion. You just trade in the direction of the arrow as long as it's a long trade above the 50, short trade below. Now, about 60% of those win. But I would use something else to confirm the entry. I want to be honest with you. Carlos, I'm not asking what you want me to send to you because I've got so many questions in between. If you send me an email, we'll take care of it. Believe me. The doorbell motion, I don't even know what it says yet. Sergio's removing that file. And when we come out with the multi-time frame assessment, we're going to have that signal you an arrow. So every time you get a potential arrow long or a potential arrow short, you're going to get a doorbell or a bing or a bang, whatever wave you want. Right now, you can't modify the tone. You'll be able to do that. And also you'll be able to turn it on and off. It's going to have an on off. And that's going to be an automatic upgrade, which you will get. It won't work without hybrids, TD. I want to be honest with you. You need to have those internal wicks because you need those 4 parameters. Open, high, low, close on every candle. No oscillator will work on a Unarenco or a Renko unless it has wicks. And you can see right here how they form on Right here, you have a wick. Market's pretty dead. In the lower right-hand corner are the number of contracts crossing per minute of time. It's a very dead market, but it's forming wicks. And so this is an absolutely accurate Laguerre line. Okay, thank you, Ed. 100 versus 13. I just don't know what you mean, TD. I'm sorry. I mean, if you can clarify, I appreciate it. We'll send the link out for the recording, D. Now, the recording will go out in the morning. I don't suspect you're going to be listening to this over tonight. I'm going to download it, link it, and Rory, first thing in the morning, will send it out. Thank you, Phil. Thank you. God bless you too, really. I want you guys to make money in that room, man. No, Dan, remember, the Euro session is, I think we need Gary. Gary, I think, is going to need another week or so to recover. Then we will start and he's going to start at 3 a.m. and that'll be our third room. He's just not ready. He's home. He's out of the hospital. He's doing great. But I think he's going to need a little bit more time. I don't want to give you an exact day unless I know it. And it's really up to his doctors. It's not even up to him. But he wants to do it. He's trading on his laptop, but he doesn't want to start the room just yet because he's going back and forth to the hospital. But he's really recovering nicely. And he had a very, very, very serious medical problem. I mean, serious. Oh, average account size, about 2,000, Jignish. And we're looking for 1,000 a week. I'm telling you, 500 a week, I think, is a mediocre week. It really is. We're looking for $1,000, and we can do it easy. Approximately $2,000 to 2,500. Heinz, we're going to send it to you. I don't have a link to the Asian market, or I would show it to you. If you want to call us in the morning, I'll show it to you. Okay? Yeah, David, I like the VWAP that we have formatted. I really do. I mean, when you trade short below it, long above it, it really helps. And when you don't trade into it, it's really good. So for me, I like the regular session more than the full session VWAP. I just do. Thank you, Greg. Thank you, guys. How will MTF be better, Laguerre, please? Motion, I just don't understand the question. I really don't. I'm sorry. How will MTF be better, Laguerre? And I don't understand that. I'm sorry. Is this live? I mean, this market's live now. I don't have an Asian feed to show you the live market in Asia, what we're looking at are the live futures markets. Crude's open, gold's open. I'm not going to take the time now because we're running way over. This was a 6 to 7. We're going on 2 hours, or I would connect the Forex, which should be rocking. But I'm telling you, you're going to get great entries. And Keith is going to be trading the Forex live on Tuesday morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern. TD, it does come with it. Just give us an email and we will make sure that it works. Okay? It does. We'll just go onto your workspace and we'll fix it. The alert, I don't even, again, I don't know what it's based on right now, Jonathan. We're gonna modify it so it's based on the arrow. Oh, the multi-time frame Laguerre. Okay, I got you, pretty. Is coming. I mean, Sergio's working on it, right? Worked on it all weekend. And if you get this indicator, you won't pay for the upgrade. But it is going to be more expensive once we come out with a multi-time frame. It took us an enormous amount of time to code, and it is a complex indicator to do a multi-time frame assessment. It is not easy. So listen, that's it. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening. I hope you learn stuff. I really do. And it helps you trading whether you come aboard or not. Because I mean, my goal is to make you a better trader. So have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Tomorrow's Martin Luther King Day. We're going to be here in the office, but we're not going to trade a half day. We'll be up and rocking on Tuesday morning. I hope you'll join us because my goal is to make us money every day. So take care, everyone. You'll get the link and the webinar replay tomorrow, but we will send you creative today if you want to come aboard. Take care and have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Bye-bye, everybody.